Gary, 18-16 win over Swinton. What's your overall thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, obviously delighted with the result. Wasn't the prettiest of games, wasn't there? Didn't play as well as I thought we could play, but at the end of the day, a win's a win, isn't it? And yeah, dug deep. I thought against a decent Swinton team. It was a good local derby, and I was pleased. 10 minutes, I think 10 minutes just after half time was a turning point for us, where we threw some good stuff together, scored a couple of tries back to back, and I think that was the telling part of the game that got us in front and got us through to the win in the end. So delighted with the result, but I think there's a bit of work to do with our performance.
Would you say it was a bit cagey throughout in terms of like on the ruck and stuff? That's obviously going to be an area for improvement in terms of yourself and obviously Swinton as well.
100%. We pointed that out at half time. I thought we were a little bit sloppy around the ruck area, and some of our players we weren't, they didn't play how we trained, which was disappointing for me. But we had some honest words with each other at half time, and we spoke about that at half time. And as I said, I thought that 10-15 minutes just after half time was really, the second half was really good, really positive, and back to how we expect to be playing. But yeah, tons and tons of improvement in us. But it's February, it's still early days. We're still learning as a group and as a team. I think we will get better, and at the end of the day, if you can win without playing well, I think that's a good sign.
I know it's early doors now, Gary, but obviously with the win against Cornwall and now this win today, we've kind of got that momentum going forward into that League One campaign against.
Absolutely, yeah. It was important to back up the Cornwall performance with a win again today against, as I said, a decent Swinton team that have come down from Championship and are going to be a force in League One for sure. So I think when you put it into perspective, I think where we are at this stage, we're in a good place. It's nice to get the win, but it's nice to know that we've got some improvement in it as well. And to win when you're not at your best is a good sign for me. So, yeah, listen, Keighley next week's going to be a different proposition again, and we're going to have to improve. We're going to have to be better in that game. We know that, but we'll take the win. We'll enjoy that, and then we'll think about Keighley next week.
As you mentioned there, Keighley next week, they've kind of got a big forward pack, haven't they? They're kind of hard to deal with going forward.
Yeah, they have. But so Swinton, when you look at Sidlow and at Walker, they're an handful. They are. They're right. I thought Swinton's pack were good today. They got a lot of offloads out, and they got a lot of good momentum. So it's going to be a similar situation next week against Keighley. They've got, as you rightly say, a big pack of forwards. They'll try and roll us up the middle of the field, and we've got to deal with that. And we've got to make sure that we're good defensively, solid defensively, and then I'd like us to execute our good ball stuff a little bit better next week. I thought we were a bit sloppy today, and we've got to improve in all areas for next week's game.
And if you don't mind me asking, any update on any injuries that you picked up today? I know thing went off, didn't he?
Yeah, Emerson's the biggest worry. Got a bit of an ankle issue there, so we're not quite sure about that. We'll have to look at that. But I don't think anybody else. I think we've just got the usual bumps and bruises. So we'll do our recovery tomorrow. We'll get back in on Wednesday, and then we'll see how everybody is. But I don't think we've got. Obviously, Martin goes in for his operation tomorrow, so he's going to be unavailable for a couple of weeks with a bicep injury, possibly. So that's our major concern. But see how Emerson is. But we've got players that haven't played today that could come in, so we're still pretty strong. With no panic or anything injury-wise. I think we're in a pretty healthy situation at the minute.
And a good support again down here today. Any message for the fans going forward into the season?
Fantastic as ever. Yeah, I think the local derbies like this are great. And certainly the Hornets fans got behind us again, which was nice to hear, especially when they hit the front. So yeah, as ever, we always thank the supporters. That's why we're here, to try and do our best on the field and give them something to cheer about. So the fact that we've come away with a win, I'm sure that'll delight them, and we just say thanks very much to them.